welcome back to Nightingale's Motorcycle Restorers and Metal Finishers. Going to catch up on the last video where we were discussing on the TLR 200 engines and exchange unit. We're nearly there with that to put it together to show you. That'll be on the next video, a little bit behind. But one of the things we did, we had a 250 Honda engine off-roader, and we broke the golden rule by actually painting it while it's a complete unit. So I'm going to show you a drop down picture of it and the pictures beforehand. Customers now got it, he's happy with it. The reason I don't do it is because one, you can't get perfection when you've got casings down. Two, the masking and everything of bunging, silicon sealing, rebunging, silicon sealing, you know, the time in it. But we knew what it was a one-off, and I say I ain't doing any more. As a preacher, it's just, I know with that particular engine, everything we bung and close up was quite good. But I'll let you see the pictures now on that one, and see what you think before and after. So yeah, I think that came out really well. Customers happy with it. Again, it was ceramic coated. I'd gone through a process and thoroughly degreased it. Couldn't gas it out obviously because we did it on an air cure. Ultra fine media to blast it, the correct media to take a ceramic coating, and yeah, come out nice. The next thing, bit unusual this one. It's actually, we'll go into the workshop in a second. It's one of our own bikes. A modern trials bike, and got back onto stale fuel and problems with bikes, even on the bigger stuff, you know, on sixes, on fours, anything with fuel. And as you know, you've seen me selling my own tank cleaners, acids and then sealers on our classic old machines, but this is going on to our modern stuff. So we'll have a look in the workshop and I'll tell you what we found on this particular bike. Okay, so we've got one of our own machines, which is an STY125 Scarpa, and then everyone knows, you know, a little 125, bomb-proof 4-stroke engine with electric start. It's not done a lot, and anything in the workshop, our own modern bikes, apart from our TLRs and twin shocks and RSs, what we do is we have some modern bikes of our own. Now, if you're going to let someone take this out as a play safe every time, on the button, electric start or kick start, bit of chill, ticks over, mint little bikes, no one can fault them. So this happened about 4 or 5 weeks ago. A friend of mine said, can I borrow a bike? Anything? I said, yeah, no problem. So I took it to the door. I've started it up a million times, rode it myself. As I say, quick start in the workshop to show everybody how this fire up and do everything. Purrs away like a sewing machine. And it started up and it was as if it was on a pilot jet. Wouldn't come in. Now, usually a bit of choke, bang on the button. These are just ticking over, bomb-proof. So obviously the first port of call was checking fuel, which I keep them on so low, any of our machines, especially when I preach about CBXs, you know, what I'm into, 6-cylinder. You know, 6 of everything, modern fuels, and it does cause problems, but it's all right preaching it and draining everything off. But this is the finding, so I'll tell you where I'm at with it. So remembering this is on a fiberglass tank, and holes next to nothing, you know, petrol tap. So fuel coming out started to look a little bit murky, but then part of the petrol tap, which I'll show you now close up, you can see it's still shiny. It's a late bite this. We're talking, you know, knobbles still on it all, everything. So it come away at the bottom, and there's kind of, look here, there's still, look at this coming out of it, right? So you've got to think to yourself, right, this bike's been used. It was stood for a period of about 3 months, but intermittently started up. We could say when we look at this and sieve it and put it through something, because I have got, that was, well, put it this way, that was how much was in that petrol tank, right? So that's how it's come out of that tank, right? It stinks exactly like stale fuel, but this has been run. So this could be in a dealer, it could be yours at home. You're getting it out after winter and preaching that we drain it off and we do this and we drain our carburetors off. But in the real world, you know, we don't. So it started up, it was like it was on pilot jet. It didn't take the bike, I couldn't believe it. As I said, got to it, took the tap off yesterday. We've got this Merc and part of the tap fell off. This pipe is pretty much stiff. The other two are okay. As I say, it's just like working on, you know, one of my old classic bikes, but a fiberglass tank. So I'm just going to show you something now. This is the bottom. I took the carburetor off yesterday and I put it through ultrasonic. Even in the little choke housing of here, those guns. But if you look close into there, look at that, still fuel. And you know when I've said in the past about when I go on about my tank liners, cleaners, sorry, before a line if you ever need to put one in. Don't get confused, it can look like stale sugar and not rust when you look through. Well, obviously we won't have rust, it's a fiberglass tank, or plastic tank, moulded, injection moulded tank. So that's what I've got straight away. And then if we get close to here, so that's how much I'm holding in my bikes. And that's gone. So if someone says, you know, there's a fraction of water in that, oh, well, it's a child's bike, mate. I know that. But these modern things, you know, we don't pressure jet any of our machines. We wash them down. You know, it could have got in a little bit of water somewhere, but it's the colour of it. So we'll just go through. This is a 325 filter, this strainer, what I use for ceramic coating. So I'll put this through. And this stinks, obviously you can't smell it, but this stinks. So I've got remnants, obviously not rust, it's just off, is the fuel. Right, you can see in there close up, look. It's off. So anyway, next thing, went to main and pilot jet. Pilot jet was blocked, definitely, with this crud. This tap has actually got like an erosion inside of it. And I see it's still shiny. So this bike could have been for sale, you could have bought it. It's one of our own. And it just shows you what modern fuels does. Anyway, I've cleaned the pilot jets out and main jets, ultrasonic the carb. I've ordered a new tap for it. And I'm going to put it back together and it'll be fine. But it was just another one for videos because I thought it's not a customer's bike in for service. Not that we service bikes because we keep away from... the only time we service anything here is it's an older classic because we're usually servicing it before we split it. If it was going to be a restoration, any restorers like to see a machine running and up on, we aren't bothered if it don't break or clutch is slipping. You just want to know and listen to the motor, though it's going to be cracked down, be it a single, 4 or a 6 even, you have to look and listen to what's going on. So as I said, the most bomb-proof trials bike probably you could buy, it just failed. So that brings us back to stale fuel. What I'm going to do is, in my kits which I sell out for our metal tanks, I'm just going to use a bit of my Prep 3, right, which is just going to give it a wash out. You at home could just, if it was this injection moulded tank, a bit of soapy water and a bit of degreaser, which you'll have in the garage, because it's an injection moulded tank. So it's, the nerve of the art of it all is obviously a petrol tank, bringing it through to your carb. But as I say, I couldn't believe it because it's a bike you'd just go take that bike. If it was in for sale, you would say, right, apart from dropping oil and giving it a service up maybe, your motor's bomb-proof. So that was a good one to come back to. Even the pipes here coming in, fuel pipes, it was gungy, but to do something to the tap like that, I mean, you know, it could be a casting problem, but it's all the guns round it and into it, and you can actually see where it's been coming out the the side. And the tap itself has gone to the point where you can hardly turn it. So yeah, modern fuels again, drain off. Look at it, stagnant. You'd probably get out of 50 bikes, you'd probably get one like that. But that's when it goes the other way. As I say, it's not been stood for 5 years. It's a bike we're using. I've been pressing it on the button in the workshop, so someone comes in and I show them how cool they are. You know, it might not be everyone's cup of tea for a child's bike, but great bikes, you know, all around. So right, we'll move on to the next thing, because there's a few bits in, and the idea is I'm going to show you them and then try and show you them done in the next video, rather than putting them through the processes: soda blasting, vapor blasting, walnut blasting, ceramic coating, polishing, and anything else we do in here, powder coating. So we'll move on to the next bench. I'll show you these bits and they'll come up in the next video, hopefully done, and you'll be able to run through them. Then I'll have the Honda engine together in its dry format, because we've had a few people already inquiring on the TLR 200 engine exchange. That's fully built and blinged. So let's go over to another workstation. Right, so it's an Honda moped, an early one. We've got the engine's been brought into us, lots of little parts, including boxes of tricks and pumps and everything down there in that one, fork bottoms. Frame at the moment we're stripping off, it's gloss black. It's going to be gloss blacked again. You've seen how we do frames: we strip them back, we zinc them, powder zinc them, top coat them, and then lacquer them. Or otherwise, if the substrate's good enough, we'll go straight into a ceramic coating if somebody wanted it. So thought I'd show you these close up. So again, we're in a crankcases, so you see the inside and the outside and the internals, obviously where the crank goes, and main bearings. So if you're new to the channel, you haven't been watching what I do with all race engines or anyone's engines, is internally this we'll do with soda. So we've got water soluble, we haven't got any metallic objects, even though our powder is like dust. And then we'll degrease these, and then we'll put these through a really light vapour to an eye bling. So I want to see them as they come out the day they were brand new. Again, inside will have been done with soda, externally will be done with a very light oxide, bit of glass in it, maybe dry, and a bit of walnut. And then they'll go for vapor blasting, which is glass and wet. So that's that casing, part of the crank housing close up. So you're going to see them now and come back to the videos. And it's good if you're watching, because you can just go back to the last video. I think it's a better way of doing it than showing you now going to the machine, because it's just boring. You know, you've seen me using some of the equipment when you've asked me out, what does vapor do, what does soda do, what does polishing do, what do we do when we powder coat. So again, part of the casing, so that'll be blinged. Fork legs will be taken back, the little legs. Clean them up, gas them out, have a look if there's any marks on them. But we'll powder coating them, customer wants some powder coating. All them bits will be powder coated. Now these handlebars and a little bit of frame there, as you can see close up, what we're going to do with these is, obviously we'll take all this off, ultra fine blasting media. We'll mask off, leaving your throttle and lever side, grip side, blanked off, and then we're going to take this back and we're going to ceramic coat these in a star silver, a metallic silver. Again, 625C, brake fluid resistant, petrol resistant, and a factory finish to kind of this again. So that's a good one to keep on watching. Again, that carrier. There's a few bits which I won't be putting through. What we've got is we've got an oil pump here. She's running free, so all I'm going to do is with this is ultrasonic it, and the customer knows. And then I think what I'm going to do is mask that off, and I'm just going to lightly solder it. The solder will be very, it always finishes like, because it's water soluble, it always finishes like, if you look at your British stuff like Amel carburettors, it's just a fresh finish, but it's a duller. Where you're vapor blasting, we can go 2 or 3 colours. That's a few questions I've been asked as well. So you keep mentioning colours in glass. Do you buy the colours in? No. We have cards, and what happens is, as the media wears down and I'm getting a finish, if you say a Laverda casing, which is like a dull sandcasty colour, if you say an Harley Davidson colour, Motor Marini or anything down that Italian side stuff, Motor Guzzi, I know that that's a duller finish. If we come back to the 70s, 80s classics like carburetors and your casings, fizzes, anything, you're in the eye bling. So it's a fresh glass mixed with a lighter glass to get me that finish. So I definitely keep 5 different types for the restoration side, especially for the purists, you know, we're trying to find everything. So as I say, moving part, we don't want grit in there, dry blasting or glass. So we'll mask that and we'll just do that with soda, where these will be ultra high bling. So you'll see them in the next video. So we're trying to get moved forward, we're trying to move more into the racing side. You're going to see next, the videos in between will be of a race biking, which we're going to prep and do a few bits for. And then going to try and keep the interest in specialist racing to camshafts, pistons, valves for specialist high temperature coatings and friction, where we're coming to another level of engines now where your purists and perfectionists in racing have been on rolling roads and they're looking for a little bit more for longevity, and this is where specialist ceramic coatings come in. So appreciate you watching and your comments. We're based in Scarborough, North Yorkshire, 01723 370 399. We're doing a postal service a bit quicker now because we've managed to get some prices at the right money, so people are sending parts in and we're getting them out maybe in 24 hours, even in ceramic coating. So send me a picture, show me a picture, email me it, I'll give you a price, send them in to me. You're probably going to get small bits back in 24 hours even, because if we're doing runs of blacks and satins and silvers in ceramic. Otherwise, let's have a look at your project and see what we can do for you. So till the next one, thanks very much and appreciate you watching.